35 sacks. That's it. That's the entire output of this pass rush over 17 games in 2025, and frankly, it's a pathetic number for a team that thinks it's a contender. We're sitting here with a massive defensive crater while the front office is staring down a cap sheet that's about to catch fire. If Ryan Poles doesn't find a way to fix this numerical disaster without bankrupting the future, this winning window we're all celebrating is going to slam shut before the first whistle in September. We've got to talk about the chaos at wide receiver and the defensive casualties that are already hitting the wire. But there's a bigger shadow hanging over the combine in Indy right now. Everyone's talking about a specific elite defender who could fix everything. But what the Raiders GM just leaked about the Crosby situation changes the entire context of our offseason plan. I'll get to that gut punch at the end, because you need to see how the dominoes are falling first. 35 sacks is an insult to the city of Chicago. You can't win a Super Bowl with a pass rush that moves like it's stuck in the mud. Poles is playing a dangerous game of the cap, and the bill is coming due right now. If you're tired of that corporate spin and just want the raw truth about this roster, hit that like button for me. It's just us real fans here trying to make sense of the mess, and I appreciate you sticking around. The man himself, Ryan Poles, finally broke his silence yesterday, and what he didn't say tells us more than what he did. Bears GM Ryan Poles stood in front of the mics at the 2026 NFL Combine on February 24th. He finally addressed a trade talk that's been swirling around DJ Moore all offseason. But here's the kicker. He didn't shut it down, not even close. Poles made it look like the team loves Moore, which they should, and said they want him around for the 2026 season. But when the reporters really started leaning on him, asking if Moore was actually safe from a trade, he wouldn't give them a straight no. "I've got nothing but great things to say about the guy," Poles said on Tuesday, "but this is a time where we've got to look at every single scenario. We have to see what lets us put the absolute best team out there on that turf." Mark Silverman from ESPN Chicago tried to pin him down, asking point blank if Moore would be on the roster next year. The answer was about as solid as a wet paper towel. It's hard to tell right now. We're trying to fit all these pieces together. Obviously, we're in a spot with the cap. We're over the limit right now. We've got to get under. There's stuff we can do, different combos of moves to make it work. Poles even talked about how much it sucks to have these conversations. He admitted it's brutal to question whether a guy who won you games is going to stay or go. I'll say this is when we get into those really gut punch decisions. You've got to take the emotions out of it and put your business hat on. It stinks when you win and guys step up, guys like DJ, and create these unbelievable moments you'll never forget. And then the next thing you know, you're asking if they're even going to be on the team. It's tough. When a GM starts talking about business hats, someone's getting traded. Poles isn't protecting DJ here. He's setting the stage. He's telling us he loves the guy right before he potentially ships him out for parts. Let's talk about the reality of DJ Moore's role and that price tag. Between Ben Johnson's offense not using him enough and a cap number that's through the roof, you gotta ask if his time in Chicago is cooked. The guy signed a 4-year, $110 million extension back in July 2024. That was supposed to mean he was our #1 target forever. But look at the 2025 production. It wasn't there. Moore only grabbed 50 passes for 682 yards and 6 touchdowns. Those are career lows across the board. The guy had 6 games where he didn't even hit 20 yards. You can't have your top-paid receiver disappearing like that. According to Over the Cap, Moore's hitting the books for $28.5 million in 2026. That's the biggest number on the whole team. Cutting him is out of the question because it cost us an extra $35 million in dead cap money, a total non-starter. But a trade, though, that's the play. A trade could clear out $16.5 million or even $24.5 million, depending on if it happens before or after June 1st. There's the restructure option, too, but that locks him in until he's 30. That's a gamble that could blow up in our faces. Now, if you think the drama is limited to the wide receiver room, think again. While the front office is busy sweating over DJ Moore's contract, they've already started pulling the trigger on the defensive side of the ball. It's not just the offense feeling the heat. A massive piece of our defense might be heading for the exit, and the Bears just made it official. The Chicago Bears aren't just messing around with the passing game. They're looking at a total defensive shakeup. up. According to Brad Biggs over at the Chicago Tribune, the team has officially given linebacker Tremaine Edmunds the green light to go out and find a trade partner this offseason. The Bears have granted permission for LB Tremaine Edmunds to seek a trade, according to a league source, Biggs reported. He's under contract for the 26th season at a massive $17.4 million cap hit. Still young and was Pro Bowl caliber player through first 10 games before a minor injury. Finished year healthy, led D in tackles. This is how it starts. You don't give a guy like Edmunds permission to look elsewhere unless you've already decided he's not in the plan. He was our defensive heartbeat, but it looks like the business hat is back on, and it's a cold world. This news isn't a small thing. Like Biggs pointed out, Edmunds was basically a lock for the Pro Bowl before he got banged up in 2025. Even with the injuries, he still ended the season as the team's leading tackler with 112 combined stops. He was a huge reason why we even made that run to the divisional round after winning the NFC North. But permission to seek a trade is a massive signal. It's the front office basically saying, hey, we don't think we can keep you. Ryan Poles has been obsessed with cap health and roster flexibility. When you've got a linebacker scheduled to eat up over $17 million while you're staring down a tight cap situation, he becomes a target. Don't get it twisted. Edmunds brings a lot to the table. He's got the range and he can cover. Hell, he had 4 picks last year. But clearing that space by moving Edmunds is a no-brainer for a front office that's being strictly disciplined about the long haul. We all knew the Caleb bill was coming eventually. Poles is clearing the decks now so we don't end up trapped in cap hell like the Saints. If we can get a third-round pick for him and save that cash, you take that deal and you don't look back. Moving that money from Edmunds might be the only way we actually fix our biggest nightmare, the pass rush. If the Bears move on from a high-priced linebacker, it's because they need that cash to find someone who can actually get to the quarterback. Chicago only managed to scrape together 35 sacks in the entire 2025 season. Ryan Poles knows this is a problem, and the market is finally starting to provide some answers, specifically from New York. One name that keeps popping up in the trade rumor mill is Giants edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeaux. ESPN just dropped their list of the top 15 trade targets, and they've got Thibodeaux with a 70% chance of being moved, listing the Bears as a top landing spot. Now, the case for this guy is a real roller coaster. Thibodeaux's 2025 season was a total wash, only 2.5 sacks in 10 games. Ben Solak over at ESPN didn't hold back, saying Thibodeaux's motor can run hot and cold, which makes him a difficult player to trust on a down-to-down basis. Then you've got the injury red flags, 12 games missed over the last 2 seasons. But look at 2023. When he was healthy, he was a monster with 11.5 sacks. That's the player you're gambling on. I've watched the tape. Some plays he looks like Lawrence Taylor, and other plays he looks like he's waiting for the bus. Do we really want to bet a draft pick on a guy who only plays hard when he's looking for a new contract? It's a massive risk. We have Montez Sweat, but after him, the cupboard is bare. Austin Booker showed flashes, but he isn't ready to be the guy yet. Trading for Thibodeaux would probably cost us a third-round pick. That's a lot for a guy in a contract year. But if the Bears think they're in a real winning window right now, the upside of a former first-round talent might be worth the cost. While we're looking at gambles like Thibodeaux, everyone's still whispering about the big fish. Word out of Indianapolis is shifting the conversation again, and this time it involves the most dominant defender in the game, Maxx Crosby. Ever since the Raiders shut him down late last season to fix that meniscus, the trade rumors have been flying. Chicago has been keeping a predatory eye on the situation, but the dream took a hit this week at the Combine. Raiders GM John Spytek basically told the world that Maxx isn't going anywhere for the 2026 season. Maxx is an elite player. He's in the building every day, and we have a great relationship, Spytek said. While things change fast in the NFL, Spytek's comments are a legit wall for teams like the Bears. Spytek's playing defense here, trying to keep his star's value high while the rest of the league circles like vultures. Crosby was livid about being shut down. You don't just text it out and make that frustration go away. The situation in Vegas is still worth watching, especially as Crosby tries to prove that knee is 100%. But while the front office is playing chess with the defense, our quarterback is playing for the history books. Caleb Williams just sat down on Crosby's podcast, The Rush, and he didn't hold back. He wasn't just talking about winning games. He was talking about total offensive world dominance for 2026. I really want to become the greatest offense this year, Williams said. I think the average was 38.5 or something like that from Denver that Peyton year. I think 39 is the number. That's what we're going for. 39 points a game is absolute insanity, but that's the standard Caleb is setting. He's coming off a year where he threw for 3,942 yards and 27 scores, but it's that elite 82.2 PFF rushing grade that really makes this possible. With Ben Johnson calling the plays and Press Taylor moving into the OC role, the ceiling is higher than it's ever been. Whether Ryan Poles can give him that one last piece of the puzzle this offseason is the big question. Last year, we were at 25.9. To jump 13 points and chase Peyton Manning? That takes a special kind of confidence. But Caleb isn't trying to be a good QB. He's trying to end the Bears' offense punchline forever. I'm here for it. Before you head out, do the Dustin a solid. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Join the family and let's make the Bears community the loudest on the YouTube. Until the next video, keep it real.